Hey folks, well, fresh off a win versus Dallas, sitting third in the Atlantic. What's going on with these Leafs? You know what? We're going to break it all down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach. We love you, KD. We're here to talk all things Leafs. I'm coming to you from downtown Toronto at the OZone HQ. Coach, where are you at?
Hey, the day after the Dallas game, you'd think I'd be in Dallas. I was there for 15 years worth of Leaf games, but I'm in London today. Couldn't make it there, so we had to send Mrs. Coach and I sent this guy, Pete. He was there, and he found a friend here. This is young Ryan Menard. They were at the Leaf game yesterday in Dallas.
Right.
Check out the stat line on this guy, Devo. He's a 3-point-a-game guy,
Jeez.
13 years old. Might be wearing the blue and white for real one day. Keep it up, Brian. Good to see you, buddy.
That would be great. Great to see all them fans out there. Listen, folks, remember to hit subscribe. A lot of you guys like these videos. That's lovely. Hit subscribe. You'll never miss a beat. Also, like and share the video. It helps us spread the word. And if you got yourself a little comment, something to say, something you want to get off your back, lay it on us. It helps us get better. Okay. Listen, while we're at it, and before maybe we get into the buds right away, Coach, we had a bit of a send-off for our beloved KD on the 24th, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did. Great job pulling that together, Devo, you and your family. We knocked out a podcast before then, and we tried to be all business as KD had asked us to be, but that was really tough to do. And I know we want to kind of save that for this piece now, talking about it, but just a bittersweet, it was packed. You rented out this restaurant. Both floors of it were packed. It was unbelievable how many people were there.
Yeah.
In terms of the podcast here, look, obviously you're his brother. You knew pretty much everybody there. I'm a little older, right? I'm 3 years older than KD. So I knew some folks there. Some were, familiar. But I'm sitting there and I don't know, I'm eating something or maybe drinking something. I look across and these guys are looking at me like and some guy points to me and goes, "You're the coach." I'm like, "Hey, that's the first time I've ever been recognized." For this podcast, it was Rob Potwin. He was a great guy. He had a couple buddies there, and they said, "Hey, look, we're so happy that you're continuing on with this. We have fun watching it. It's a good escape. It was always a great way to see KD. You kind of keep tabs on guys when you don't talk to them all the time, and this was a good way to do that. So tons of subscribers at the event, as it turned out, all with great feedback. Hey, look, guys, I wasn't sure. Even before KD got sick this last time, I moved to London. Was it really going to work? And with the time difference and all that, but all this stuff happens with him, and it's like, guys, it's really hard to do this even now. Like, even just for me to look at Mike, you start welling up just knowing how good a guy he was, how much he meant to all those people that were there. But I'll tell you what, he asked us to do it, and so we said we'd do it, and then to go and meet those people and have them tell us, look, I know we don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but the people that watch it actually like it. Yep. So we're going to keep doing it. And in addition to that, it was really nice to meet those. I'd never met them before, and we're bonding over this little thing we do. But in addition to that, I got to see some guys from our old hockey team, which, KD played on as well. Mm-hmm. Here's Pat McCartan. What a beauty he is. Dexter Watson, who is also in the Carbuzzi Hall of Fame. Unbelievable to see that guy. Haven't seen him in 15 years. And then my buddy, actually a mentor of mine, career-wise, Dennis Murphy. I got a chance actually to tell him how much he's meant to me in sort of career choices and get me to this point. We shared a tear or two about that. And obviously all of us really miss KD. So I'll leave you with this. KD's daughters, the speeches they had were. I just really hope, Mike, that in my celebration of life, when I move on after the Leafs have got a few cups, that my kids are as poised
Yeah.
and as polished and as impressive as KD's daughters were. It was unbelievable. They're so good. They mentioned the podcast, even Regan did,
Yeah.
which choked the old coach up. But hey, I'll stop talking about it. I could talk about it all day. I know you want to get to it too.
Yeah, well, listen, it was a tough day. It was really hard. It was lovely to see so many people come out. KD, of course, we missed you.
Yeah.
And hey, we'll get past it and we'll move on.
Devo, you nailed it, right? I mean, you told the story about how he got the news, and it was heart wrenching to have you up there and just raw. But I mean, you could hear a pin drop in that place. But you brought it back at the end to look at this. Like, look at the amount of people here. They all care about that guy. That event was exactly the kind of party that he would have loved.
That's what he asked for.
Yeah.
And it was great seeing so many people paying tribute. It really was. And then, hey, the Leafs come back in overtime that night and win one for KD, which was beautiful. Let's get into it, Coach. I got to say, pretty remarkable. The season is so young, and yet here you are already doing it again. We've barely had time to make any predictions. And I think the first one you made, predicting that Wall might take over the crease, I doubt you thought it would happen so soon, but my goodness, is Wall the starter?
Devo, I'm glad you mentioned that. If I think back, I believe I had this one. Going with this? I like him. I actually think he comes back a bit, though. He had a really, really good regular season, better than anybody could have expected. I'm not sure he's that guy. So I just have high hopes. I just have a feeling Joseph Wall's going to take it and run with it. And why not us? Jordan Binnington did it. Cam Ward did it way back when. Yeah. So I did call it. I had a good feeling about this. And I want to reiterate, this is not about my man Ilya. I'm thinking that he's going to be bad. He hasn't been great. Mm-hmm. I did think he'd take a little step back. It's more about Joe Wall taking a step forward.
Yep.
And you're right. I didn't have it this soon. I had it in January around my brother's birthday, as I mentioned in that thing. Yep. Look, I think Ilya is going to bounce back and play well. And as soon as Nashville, I think he's going to be good Saturday night. But it's our time, like I said in the thing. It's our time to have a homegrown guy blossom. It's not like he's a 19 or 20-year-old. Like, he's been around a while. He's been a pro a while. He was a top prospect way back. He's been banged up. I'm glad to see him get the chance. And the best thing I think is a predictor of if this is long-term is his demeanor. Yes. Nothing rattles this guy. He's like the opposite of me.
Yeah, very calm, and he's got that. He's not busy in the net. I think I talked about this last time too. And but he's a big guy, and he's athletic. Even in last night's game, you saw him make a couple great saves coming across the net, full sprawl, splits, looking good, but not an economy of movement. You got to love to see that. Listen, all right, Coach, the online world, we know, especially around these Leafs and Leafs Nation, is a little fickle. Unfortunately, not all the fans can be like our good buddy Curtis from Alberta. We wondered who the next whipping boy would be. Obviously, it was Hall last year. Surprised to see so many people ripping on Reeves thus far in the season, particularly after the first two games where he really kind of came in and imposed his will. Coach, what do you think about this guy? What's going on?
I guess can't all be Curtis in Alberta, right? Where we're all rah. I guess we're not used to having good things, so we got to pick stuff apart. I don't know. To me, it kind of, are you old school or are you new school? Are you eye test or you stats? So I wanted to take a look at the stats, so I went to our numbers guy. We got a picture of our numbers guy. Yeah, this guy right here. He helped me pull together some stats. Actually, I have those here. So here's some advanced stats that I've got for Reef. They're awful. I can't, like, you can't unsee this. It's so bad. So we put them on the screen. Some advanced stats like expected goals percentage. All the Leafs as a team are above 50%. He's at 34. Scoring chances as a percentage too. Leafs are over 50%. He's at 27. High danger. This is a problem here.
Yeah.
So for every high danger chance they've had when he's on the ice, the other team has 4. It's not good. But look, I get it. So I get why. Yeah, you don't think we want to, in this good numbers illuminated about what succeeds. That type of, maybe Ryan Reeves doesn't fit. But we knew his numbers would be awful. If you look at his career numbers, none of them are ever good. Why is he on teams? Why has he played 14 years? Why is he a good teammate? He's a deterrent.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but when I played, it wasn't fighting. But if I knew a guy was physical, he's going to throw it behind me in my corner, I hated that because I was going to get hit. And it affects the way you play.
Sure.
As a deterrent, he's been great, Mike, except for that one time where Nylander got hit. Remember in the Florida game, he got knocked over as a dirty hit, and then Reeves didn't do anything about it. Oh, by the way, I was at that Florida game. Here's a shot of that. A little tough to go London to Miami, and then about the same amount of time as the flight was the Uber from Miami Airport to Sunrise, but I got to it. He's a deterrent, and I actually like it. I like it. I think if I was a team playing the Leafs in the regular season, I might try and take some liberties. Marner, Matthews, Nylander. I think there's going to be less of that with the threat of him beating the crap out of you. But look, my final point is this. Much of the chirping is about why would you get this guy who's not going to play in the playoffs? And my answer to that is, hey, let's get there first.
Yeah.
Let's worry about the playoffs when we get there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a lot of noise out there about secondary scoring. Listen, the Leafs haven't played a solid game yet this year. And by solid game, I mean like 2.5 periods of solid hockey. They have probably the closest game they played to that was last night, actually, in Dallas. But even then, the first half of the second period, they got beaten up pretty bad.
Yeah, puck never left the zone. Yeah.
So they haven't even played a good, solid team game yet. I think it's ridiculous to start pointing a lot of fingers, particularly at things like the secondary scoring, because it's nitpicky at this point. I mean, we're still atop the Eastern Conference in a pretty hefty place, and they're not even close to playing their brand of hockey. They're shuffling things around. Heck, they're still shuffling the net. They don't know what they're doing yet. They don't know what they are. It took the Leafs a lot of hockey last year to get to sort of where they are now.
Yeah.
Probably 20, 23 games last year. So I'm not really all that concerned. But there does seem to be a lot of nitpicking out there. What do you think about all this secondary scoring, about some of these pieces they brought in the summer? What's your thought on it so far, Coach?
Yeah, we talked about it in the last one. All 4 left wingers are new. 6 out of the 12 forwards up front are new. It takes time. Look at Bertuzzi, right? He said, Keefe said afterwards, last night was his best game. He's starting to come. So it takes a while. And it's good to see Max Domi going a bit. It does take a while because he was awful.
Yes.
Awful. In the first 4 games, he was icing the puck. Like even Nikita Zaitsev said, "Hey, slow down a bit." So, but then he had a couple good games with Matthew Nyes. That's good. Maybe that helps with the secondary scoring. But look, it's always going to be a problem the way the cap is set up, secondary scoring. I think the real issue here maybe isn't scoring. It's what do you do with your third and fourth line centers. I think we can agree we really like David Kampf as a fourth line center.
Fourth.
Yeah. Checking, throw him out there in his own end, bury him, no problem, right? He's responsible, good penalty killer, all that. If you're looking to get scoring out of your third line and he's your third line center, that's tough.
Nope.
Right? It's where plays go to die is his stick.
Yep.
So Fraser Minton, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's working out. He's been a healthy scratch in 2 or 3 in a row. Let him go dominate Junior, right? And now you got my boy Pontus.
Pontus. Yep.
He's a poor man's David Kampf. So, when your third line center is one of those two guys, you're probably not going to score a lot. But again, not that big a deal. Till the playoffs when it's a huge deal.
Yep.
So, get the trade deadline maybe to address this.
I mean, this is something KD would probably say, and I don't know. Can you put Domi as a third line center?
Have you seen him in his own end?
I know. I think the idea, though, is you're not playing him in your own end, right?
Even Nylander is like, what is he doing back there?
Yeah.
I get it. You start him in the offensive zone a lot. Like that's a talented line with him at center. Yeah, maybe.
And you get some secondary scoring. Anyways, it's a thought. Who should be on the line with Matthews?
I'd like to see Matthew Nyes there, but I don't mind that he's got a little something going with Domi, and that's okay.
Yep.
Look, Noah Gregor is fine too. It's beside Matthews, anybody's going to be good. Well, although we could probably agree, not Ryan Reeves, right? Like this isn't Gretzky, Curry, Semenko, is it?
Here's the thing: do you really have to worry about defense? And do you really have to worry about Domi? Could you not just put him up there? He'll end up scoring 20 goals.
I don't mind that either.
He can skate with them and he goes to the net.
So to me, Yarncroc is like a perfect third line guy. Might chip in some offense, but always responsible. But look, he can play on that line too. They've had some success there. He's been fine. To me, Yarncroc's kind of like a spy. Like you think somebody was here, but you don't really remember that he was here. Like, you know how Jason Bourne would be walking along, and then a bus would cross, and then he's gone? Like, Yarncroc's kind of like that. I think he played.
I tell you what I like. I call Yarncroc he's all-wheel drive, all-season tires, right? he's the second best tire for every season.
Yeah. He doesn't hurt you in the summer.
He doesn't
or
hurt
the
you.
winter.
No.
He's not perfect, but he doesn't hurt you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about the Leafs, we got you covered right here. We're not complete. We're complete when you chime in. We're complete when you subscribe. And we'll see you next time right here on the OZone.